All sports, all plays. Yeah. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making a plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays.
That'd be absolutely devastating.
This is Joey Owens' show. They've been trying to get me on this broadcast forever, and this is the worst damn broadcast I've ever been on. So you all can kiss my ass while I win this match.
All right, what's happening, everybody? Welcome to G.W.R. Gonzo'S Wrestling Room, Monday, October 2nd, 2023. I'm Chris Gonzo'S, joined by Tony Gonzalez. And as you can see, we got a whole lot of guests tonight. We have Marcus Fine, who joins us every week. And then we also have Big Glenn, who has been on some other sports shows with us, and also a big wrestling fan. We have pro wrestler Justin Danger. And then we have pro wrestling manager Warren Misery. We got a pretty good guest panel today.
Yeah, I think towards the end of the show, your son, my grandson Austin's going to be in. They changed his work schedule. He planned on being on, but I think he's going to be on towards the end and do his super cards and stuff. So, Chris, ready? We'll get started with the show. Okay. First thing, Marcus, I was going to see. I know you didn't go to any shows, and I didn't go to any shows this weekend because of personal reasons. You was dealing with some illnesses, and I was dealing with a family illness also, which is going a lot better. And all the people that wish prayers and stuff from my wife, I appreciate that. Thank you. She's home from the hospital and doing better. She's getting meaner, so I think she's doing better.
What's up, Jeff? Chris?
Good evening, guys.
Yep. How's everybody doing out there? Hopefully good. I'm a little tired, but hanging in there and excited for this show. But Marcus, I was going to say, as far as indie wrestling shows, do you know what's coming up this weekend?
Yeah, in Indiana, we got Cornfield Carnage on Saturday, Portland. We got WCWO, of course, on Friday night. Supreme Wrestling's running in Madison on Saturday. NGW's got a double shot. They're going to run Saturday in Burnettsville and Sunday in Crawfordsville. And then there's another show for like a Sean O'Brien Memorial show down, I think, in New Albany or Evansville, somewhere down southern Indiana. And then, of course, Fastlane. As you can tell, Glenn's plugging Fastlane.
Yep, Saturday night. Yep. And also Sunday, we got Summit Pro also.
Summit Pro. Yep, I knew there was another one. I was trying to remember them all.
But yeah, a lot of wrestling coming up this weekend. The fans can go check out all them shows. I'm sure will be good. We've been down to NGW before. They got a great product, or Summit Pro does. Everybody knows it. Has watched our show before. Me and Chris is definitely. I'm not gonna lie, we're biased when it comes to our good friends over at DCCW. They do a great job. So I know that's going to be a great show there in Jay County. So going to be a lot of good shows that people can check out. WCW Coast every Friday night. Best $12 you ever spend. But yeah, it's going to be a lot of good stuff coming on this weekend. Real quick, I was going to hit a couple of shows, see if any of you guys seen any of them this weekend, pay-per-view wise. First one I was going to hit was NXT No Mercy.
Yes.
Did any of you guys happen to see that? I knew Glenn watched it. I watched it. And I thought it was the opening was very cool because it kind of paid tribute to the old school No Mercy video game. Some of you guys probably remember that video game.
I love that.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool. I know you can check it out online. I think they actually released that online before even the show. Um, I thought it was a really great show. The stuff that stood out to me was the first match, Baron Corbin against Braun Breaker. I thought it was a fantastic match. Really enjoyed it. Uh, the other match that stood out was the NXT Heavyweight Championship, Carmelo Hayes against Ilya Dragunov. Dragunov is your new champion, and another classic match between them two. Um, it was just great. I thought it could be up maybe for one of the matches up for one of the matches of the year. They're fantastic. And then also the Extreme Rules match main event with Becky Lynch putting up the NXT World Women's Championship against Tiffany Stratton. Stratton stepped up again. It was a fantastic hardcore match. I thought really enjoyed the show, and I give that show probably a B plus, maybe even A minus. I thought it was fantastic. Um, Next up, did anybody see that show? I know Glenn's seen it. What did you think of the show, Glenn?
I loved it. I do believe Stratton and Becky Lynch's match, I would say, stole the show along with Dragunov and Trick Williams. I think it was Trick or Carmelo, whoever the NXT.
Yeah.
I get them.
Carmelo.
I get them two mixed up because they look just alike. But that Extreme Rules match was just so awesome. I would be willing to put that up there as a match of the year candidate because that was just insane.
It had a lot of good moments in it. It had even some comedy in it. There was a part, Marcus, where she goes for a bag and everybody thinks she's going to throw out tacks or Legos. And it's Tiffany Stratton's kind of considered like a Barbie type character in a way. And so she pulls out broken Barbie dolls and throws them out on the mat, which was pretty.
Barbie shoes.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. So it was pretty good. Next up, we had AEW Wrestle Dream. New pay-per-view that they come out with this year. Thought it was a pretty good show. I'll be honest with you. I thought the first half of the show could have been a dynamite. I thought the second half of the show was really good. I'd give it probably a B. The matches that stood out to me was Swerve Strickland and Hangman Adam Page. I love Swerve Strickland. I hope he continues to get the push. I think he's different. Warren Misery doing the dance there of Prince Nana. And I like Prince Nana. I don't like the group. I don't think that Swerve belongs with the group. I think he belongs with Prince Nana, but I don't think he belongs with the group. That's just my opinion. But I thought that was a really good match. The other one that stood out to me was Bryan Danielson and Zack Sabre Jr. And Marcus, you would have liked this because it was nothing but pure wrestling and hold for hold. It was really good. And I really enjoyed that match. And then the main event was Christian Cage against Darby Allin. Thought it was really well done. I know Billy Ray talked today on Busted Open that he could tell that match was put together by Christian Cage. He said his fingerprints was all over that match. It was 2 out of 3 falls. I thought it was real good. Christian Cage won the match, and they the young kid Nick Wayne, who'd been tucked in by Darby Allin, and they've got a history together. And he turned on Darby Allin, and they were about ready to take him out. And out for the save come none other than the Rated R superstar, now known as Adam Copeland, formerly of Edge, is now in AEW. Thought it was pretty good. It seemed weird seeing him somewhere else besides WWE, but hey, if this is what makes him happy, I worry about him a little bit because he's going to be full time, and they say he's going to wrestle a lot and he'll be on the show every week. I worry about that a little bit, but hey, if that's what he wants to do, if that's what makes him happy, there ain't nothing wrong with that. And again, I thought the show. Did anybody out there get to see the show Sunday?
I did not, but I caught the results of it on Twitter and like Facebook. I did see an interview that I think Bryan Danielson did, and he was talking about that was like one of the best matches he's ever had. So,
yeah, it depends because I thought the crowd seemed to like it pretty well. I thought it was kind of weird. Billy Ray didn't like it. He didn't like the Bryan Danielson match, excuse me, and he didn't care for it. He said that he thought it was too planned out, and he said Zack Sabre Jr. never even broke a sweat the whole match. He said, "How do you wrestle a hard match and not even break a sweat?" So he was a little critical of it. I still enjoyed it though. That's just my opinion. Okay, moving on. Had a couple questions real quick before we get to our cards. All of you, give you a chance to. I'll go first, and then you guys can think for a second. And let's not give. Okay, what I'm going to ask is something you would like to see on the indie wrestling scene. I've asked that before, and I don't want it to be. I don't want it to be necessarily people working together because we've said that. Also, I don't want it to be the backstabbing and all that stuff. Of course, I would like to see that end, but we all know that. And then my other question is going to be, do you think Adam Copeland will make a difference in AEW? And yes or no, and why? Okay, going with the first one. But I would like to see on the independent scene, I would like to see more promos done by the wrestlers. But one of the problems with some of the promos that I have seen on the shows, they're way too long. They need to be short promos. Yeah, need to be short promos, minute, 2 minutes, not 10, 15-minute promo. Especially because a lot of places that we go to, Chris can testify to this, and I know Marcus can, a lot of the PA systems suck. So it's hard to understand what they're even saying sometimes. So that's one thing. And then other thing is, and I don't know that this would be easy to do, but I think the promoters and the wrestlers need to find, I don't know if it's just communicating with the crowd after matches, before matches, what the fans want to see and what they want from the wrestlers. I think that would be good. I mean, they're the ones that coming to the show and paying the money, trying to find a way to appease that audience to get more people to come to the shows. Anybody else want to?
I'll go ahead and kick it off.
You want to step up?
Yeah, I'll step up. I definitely have to agree with you on the promos part of it. I'm kind of still in your answer, Tony, but I've seen it done well, storyline driven promos, in Warrior Pro Wrestling. Obviously, then as far as your question is concerned on will Adam Copeland make a big difference in AEW, I do not think he will make a big difference in AEW because you've had other WWE guys that have went to AEW, Bryan Danielson and some other guys that went to AEW and haven't really moved the needle that much in that way.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you on that, Glenn. He'll be right back. He had to go do. I think mom was needing something. He'll be back in a second. Marcus, what did you think when he said about something you want to see on the independent shows?
Well, we went through this once before. I had to go back and look at my notes. Well, I'd like to see heels and faces coming out from two different locations. That gives it that old school vibe, and the fact that how can you have them not fighting in the back room when it's all done? They all go into the back in the same. The entrance is the exit, and they all go in that same door. What keeps them from fighting back there? So that kind of sets things off. I think once the doors open, I don't like seeing the wrestlers running around. Once the doors open, I think everybody ought to be in the back, stay in the back. I agree that the faces should come out during intermission, sell their merch. But to see wrestlers running around all over the place throughout the show, I don't like to see that. I'd like to see him bring back the old-time cardboard posters you used to see tacked up on poles everywhere in windows, so I can at least steal one from every town because I used to do that. But
I got quite a few of them hanging up here on the wall.
You see my garage, you'd see what I'm talking. I think they ought to come out with programs too. You don't see anybody come out with any programs anymore that they can get when they can come in the door and pay a few dollars, get a program. Here's who you're going to see tonight. Here's an ad. Here's promo pictures. And as Tony said, promos, I like to see ringside interviews after the matches at times too, where you can grab a good ring announcer who's got a good head on their shoulders that can ask questions and say, okay, We just seen you get attacked by. What do you think of this? What's going to happen now? It's a lot of old school stuff, but that's what I'd like to see. So
I agree with that, Marcus. Of course, you watch some of the old stuff on TBS. You know, you have a guy, and maybe a feud ended, and he'd be up at the podium. Hey, you know, I'm done with this chapter, and then all of a sudden, somebody comes out and starts a new feud with him. That would be something that would be interesting to do at a show. Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
I agree with you on not seeing the wrestlers running around during the show, because that was going to be one thing that I was going to say was I feel like you see a lot of like you'll see a wrestler wrestle, and then right after that you'll see him out like sitting in the crowd watching the show, and
or putting chairs away.
I know it's kind of old school. That's just or put. That's another thing. I don't like that. Don't start cleaning up your building in the middle of a show and putting chairs up in the middle of a show when you're getting ready to have the main event, especially if you have people there that are recording it or streaming it live.
Yes,
because then the wrestlers get out of the ring, and then it just makes it look a little bad. The only other thing I would say on independent is I'd like to see some of these. I'd like to see some of these. Not everybody does it, but some of the shows get away from having 14 to 20 matches on one show. Have your 6 to 8 matches. If you want to have 14, 15 matches, do like some of the other promotions do and do a double shot. Yeah. Do 2 days or something. But if you try to do 15, 16 matches in one night, it just becomes too long of a night most of the time. Now I will say we were at a show not too long ago that had 15 matches, and I think the show took just a little over 3 hours. They kept it moving good, and I'll be honest, I was impressed with how they kept that show moving, because I figured we was going to be there a lot longer than what we was for having that many matches. But I just think you get that many matches, you kind of gotta speed the matches up, because you can't have that long of matches because you have so many, and I think that can affect the quality of the show as well, because you're trying to fit everything in instead of just letting it kind of float.
I also think they ought to be all totally set up before them doors are opened up. If you need to get there 2 hours earlier to get your crap set up, I don't think you should still be tightening ring ropes and people in the building at the same time. So that's still need to be behind closed doors, and that's
I agree with that, because that's even with us. I like having all of our stuff in and set up before the fans come in.
I agree with that too, 100%. I was going to ask Warren, because I know you watch the AEW product a lot. That pay-per-view last night was over 4 hours long. It had 10 matches on the regular show, 4 matches on the pre-show. If you count the pre-show, it was 5 hours long. And I know you've watched some of the pay-per-views. Do you think that's too much? Personally, I do.
Yeah, it was a lot. I mean, I didn't purchase it because it was a little money's a little tight this month, so I didn't purchase it, but I did follow. But there wasn't a lot of some of those. Yeah, there was some parts of the card that maybe didn't really need to be there. No, but I'm not Tony Khan. I don't have Tony Khan's money, but he can do what he wants. It's his playground. But also with talking about the independent stuff, me being still fairly new to everything, especially in this area. I'm originally from Michigan. We don't have as much up there as we do down here. The promotion of everything, it's like me being someone who wants to go see something. I want to know what's going on. What's up with it? I mean, it's easier said than done because stuff costs money. But even if there's a way to even try to find to try to get something more social media out there, more televised, more things to see like you guys do to help really promote these, then I think that would help too. Because like I said, you go to some of these and you don't know much about who and what and how, and so you sort of sit there and it may be a good show, but when you're leaving, what makes you want to come back to that show next month when they run it? So I mean, I think there's find a good way to promote, and then it helps a lot of these guys that do put a lot into it too, to build a bigger crowd. You can build that up, and because it can be a little deflating sometimes to go to a 10 to 12 person show when it's a good show, but people just don't know enough. So, I mean, promotion, I would love to see a better way, even if a lot of these individual promotions could all come together and find a way to pool to help each other. I think that'd be really cool.
Yeah, and that's one thing too. I mean, and I've heard promoters say this, and I can't really disagree because it's a two-way street. But you got a lot of wrestlers that'll be on a show and will never put anything on their Facebook or on their social media that about this show. Why not promote that show you're going to be on to get more people to come? I mean, if the more that show is successful, I would think the more you might get booked. Maybe I would hope maybe the more you get paid. I can't say that for sure because I'm not that much behind the scenes to know how that works. So I'm not going to say that I am. But yeah, I would like to see a lot more promoting going in together, and it's a tough business. I mean, especially if you're not paying your wrestlers much, maybe they feel like, hey, all I'm getting paid to do is to wrestle. I'm not getting paid to be a promoter. You're the promoter, you promote. So it's a double-edged sword. So I see it both ways.
Yeah.
I'd like to see more posters out like you used to. That's how I used to always find wrestling shows was the posters.
Yep.
Now I understand social media is big, but I don't think a lot of people understand how the social media works because you'll see some people just post on their page. Okay, that's good. You might have 1,000 followers on your page, but you made that post without people liking it or sharing it or anything. You're only about 5 to 10% of the people that follow you are even going to see that post that you made because of the way the algorithm's set up.
And then how many of them are going to go?
So if you're going to just put it on social media, you really got to push it and try to get people to like it, share it, and comment on it, so it gets in that algorithm where more people are going to see it. Because just because you have 1,000 followers on your page, and this is something that I've been learning since we started doing this, you post something, that doesn't mean that everybody that likes and follows your stuff sees it. Because it only goes to a certain percentage of your followers. It's only like 5 or 10% of the people that actually follow you see your post on a regular basis. So I think getting it out, especially in the town you're going to be in, getting posters at like gas stations and at different places, I think can maybe be a way to help. I know it costs money to get the things printed up and stuff. So I know you're fighting kind of a double-edged sword there as well, because I know a lot of these promoters might not have the money to do that, but I think that's something that is kind of missing nowadays that we used to see.
But the thing of it is, Chris, like I said, we was part of running the show and before and for fundraisers and stuff. And Marcus said he hadn't heard a lot of that, but I went out and I got flyers done. I got programs done, and in the business that was their instead of giving me money, they did that stuff for free. Hey, give them 4 tickets free, give them 8 tickets free, maybe not front row tickets, but give them something in return to make them excited about the product, and you can get things done. I mean, make trades. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, cash is great. Don't get me wrong, but if you can get 30 posters and 100 flyers and give that guy 4 free tickets to set in general mission, I think it's well worth it.
Or even an ad, advertise like, with Warrior Pro, they really advertise the heck out of their sponsors. And
they try to, yes, they do.
Yeah.
Well, I know David's on here, and David Kraft walks Danville, I think, every week.
Yeah, he said that.
Handing out little handbills or whatever you call those things. And yeah, here we go. Yep, see. And I know he puts in the work because
you see it personally.
Yeah.
And even with all that work, there's no guarantee that you're going to get to get a big crowd. You just don't know. I mean, it's hard to know what you need to do each month, and especially with the economy. I think that's a big deal. Just like Warren said, hey, he didn't have the extra money this month to get that pay-per-view. That person may not have the extra money this month to get 4 tickets to take his kids to a show. He made it the next month, but you don't have it this month. That's you just don't.
And I think just as a society, everybody's busier now than what it used to be. I think more people are on the run. You got more families now where both parents have to be working to be able to survive. Where I remember when I was younger, it was a lot of times you just had one parent working in the household, and I think that. And then you got so much traveling sports now where the kids are playing sports year round instead of maybe just playing basketball during basketball season or baseball. And I think that affects going to some of the events as well, just having the time. Because I remember when Austin was younger and him just doing his amateur wrestling. I mean, there's a lot of times we'd be taking him to wrestling events on Saturday and Sunday. So, or basically about every weekend we were already busy for the weekend, and then you work during the week. So I think that has a little bit to something to do with it as well. As just lifestyles has changed, and people seem to be a little more busier. And then when you do have a little extra money, you kind of got to decide what you want to spend it on.
Yeah, but I remember, like you said, though, you talked about them putting posters up at the grocery stores and stuff. Heck, I just started social media a year and a half ago. I didn't know anything about social media. I barely can work my phone now still. But anyway, I mean, I used to, when we went to the grocery store, even me and my wife, one of the first things I did, and if I didn't do it going in, I did it coming out, was check the board there to see if there was any wrestling posters.
That's what I did.
I mean,
that's what I did.
I did.
You get those families, you get those 8 and 9 year old kids that get a hold of that little promo poster, that take it home, and then they're peppering mom and dad all week. Hey, I want to go. I want to see this. I want to see this. To where maybe mom and dad finds, okay, fine, we're going to go. And then they're there, and then, and then it's booked, and, they're in.
I know some of the promoters have in the past get with the local pizza chains, and all the delivery boxes will put like one of them little place car or whatever those little things that David Kraft has on the pizza box. So then the pizza guy delivers the pizzas, and here's this little
DCCW does that with Greeks. And DCCW does that with Greeks. I think a good idea promotion-wise to help get people to come back because they feel like you're giving something back to them is why not give everybody that comes in your door for this show a free raffle ticket? Maybe a blue one. Maybe you got other raffle tickets, but maybe a blue one. And then before the end of the show, maybe intermission, for that raffle, you give out 2 free tickets for the next show. I mean,
read that. I'm not telling go around the block because I'll see it. It's like, you need to go around the block. You got to get that off that pole. Yes.
Yep.
Back in the day when I could walk, I'd get out of the car, but since now I can't, if I see it, I'll ever drive around the corner. Hey, go get that.
Did anybody chime in on the? I had to step away. I apologize. I may have to do it again with my wife, so I do apologize for that. But did anybody else chime in on what they thought about Edge?
Just Glenn.
Just Glenn. What do you guys think?
I could follow up. I mean, with that one too, and all kindly with Glenn and you guys' response to that. I think differently. I think he can bring something, maybe not ring wise, but I think backstage wise, to help a lot of these younger people with storytelling, how to work a match in the ring, how the psychologies of stuff. I think backstage he's going to be way more valuable than in ring. And I think that, and then even with jumping ahead here with the potential of like a Dolph Ziggler showing up there too. I mean, these are guys that are workers that will show these young guys that, as AEW is bringing in some of this really great stuff they've got, how to work a storyline, how to really stretch these things out, and even get in Tony's ear and tell him, listen, this is sort of how we need to go about doing these things. We know you're an overly excited guy and you like to do your stuff, but here's how we work stories. And I think it's going to be a lot better grouping than with the one guy, Pepsi Phil, that they kicked out. So, I think ring wise probably he's going to hit average, but I think backstage is going to be way more valuable.
Name wise, I think he's just as big as name as, in my opinion, as CM Punk, as far as name wise. So I think he can add something there for a while, putting butts in seats, maybe selling merchandise. I think he can help there. I heard Mark Henry say today on Busted Open that they made millions of dollars off selling merchandise and stuff from CM Punk. CM Punk was a huge success while he was there. It may all blew up, but he was a huge success financially, definitely for AEW. I agree with what you're saying. The only problem is, are these people going to listen? Because you've got Arn Anderson there already. You've got Bryan Danielson, who knows a ton about the wrestling business and storylines and stuff, and not a whole lot's changed. I mean, don't get me wrong. I hope the Edge go in there. Christian's got a fantastic mind. Mark Henry. There's plenty of people there and Billy Ray, because Dave LaGreca was saying that he thought they was going to make a big difference. And Billy Ray said they haven't listened before. And Mark Henry was on there and started laughing and was shaking his head. They don't listen. He said you can't get the young guys to listen. And then when the other big problem is when they come back from the after the match, and they've got criticism for it before they even get there. Tony Khan's telling them how great the match was, best thing they ever seen. So what difference does it make for them to give him criticism if Tony Khan said, "Well, why should I listen to you? Tony Khan loved it. He's the one paying me." So they've got. And don't get me wrong, I'm not hating on AEW. I want AEW to be super big because I love wrestling. I just they got. I mean, they got to change things. I mean, their crowds are dwindling. I mean, arenas where they sold 6, 7, 8,000 tickets now are selling 2,000 tickets. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. Well, guys, if you guys are ready,
Anybody else have any? Justin, did you have anything on that? Any thoughts on Edge?
Edge to me at first he'll be a draw, but once him and Christian start doing the same thing they've already done, it'll fade away real quick.
That's what I think. I think it'll help at first a little bit, but
because everybody's already seen what he's getting ready to do, anyways. So
it was interesting because Edge did say, I don't know if it was in the post media scrum or afterwards, but he did say there was a lot of guys that he's never wrestled before in AEW that he wants to go up against, like the Samoa Joes and all that. So there is some fresh storylines, but I think that's what they do have to avoid. They have to avoid going back to the well with Christian and things like that. But
the main thing I think is at least for me, I just want him to stay healthy. I don't want him to go there and go full time and get hurt. That could be and a lot of people, and he said basically said the reason he left WWE because they wouldn't let him go full time, and they wouldn't let him. Yeah, I mean, they was only going to use him so much, and he wants to be all in. Pardon the pun. He wants to be all in, but that's maybe sometimes WWE knows what's best for people more than they do themselves. Bryan Danielson's a perfect example of that. I mean, he's been banged up a lot since he's went to AEW.
Yeah, and I mean, let's be honest too. Yeah, I mean, AEW does not have a good track record for keeping guys off the injury list. I mean, literally, case in point, Moxley just recently. You've seen that. You've seen Hangman Page. You've seen Ray Phoenix.
Ray Phoenix last night, and also one of the Aussie Open. One of the Aussie Open broke his wrist.
Yeah, you've seen a lot. Yeah, there seems a lot of guys. So yeah, it is definitely something that hopefully they take seriously.
All right.
Okay. Well, we'll get started on our super cards. We had old school and new school. And Glenn, if you would like, I was going to let you start with the old school one.
Yes. So I want to do like a WrestleMania type event at Lucas Oil Stadium. I originally on my notes here I wrote down like Wrestle Rock Rumble at the Lucas Oil Stadium. The menu prices are as follows. And when I did the menu prices for the concessions, I pretty much used what Eldora Speedway uses for their concessions over in Ohio. So it pretty much is like this: $3 hamburgers, $3.50 hamburgers with cheese, $2.50 nachos, and you have a $20 family special 4-pack. And it includes 4 burgers, 4 nachos, and 4 drinks. And the seating prices for this show is $20. But when I went to set up the show, I went with it being old school, and I wanted to have it like old school. You have to go to the box office to get these tickets. You can't do no online. So the sooner that you get
old school in it,
yeah, the sooner you get up to the box office window, the better your seat is, because it's going to be $20 flat rate seating everywhere in the venue. Free parking, obviously, as well, which is going to be great. And the card is pretty much like this. Opening 4 corners tag team elimination match, no holds barred, must be a winner. Midnight Rockers versus the Hart Foundation versus Road Warriors versus New Age Outlaws. And then the second match of the night is a Texas Bull Rope match between the Masters of the Lariats, Stan Hansen and Bradshaw. And a tag team match with Mr. Perfect as a special guest referee, Vern and Greg Gagne versus Vince and Shane McMahon. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And the following match after that one would be The Undertaker versus Steen. Winner faces Andre the Giant in the main event.
Yeah. Man, that's an awesome card. That's an awesome card, man. I love it.
Oh yeah, I'm still going here. I got.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
I got like a bunch of matches here. Ladder match: RVD versus Sabu. Hell in the Cell: Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Brian Pillman. Tag team match: Dan Spivey versus Outsiders versus Dan Spivey and Sid Vicious. Ric Flair versus Owen Hart. Hulk Hogan versus John Cena. The Rock versus Hot Rod Roddy Piper. And the main event, no time limit, no holds barred. There must be a winner. And I kind of like fantasy booked this one. I had Andre the Giant versus The Undertaker.
That's been a match I'd like to see.
Oh, most definitely, man. I went all out with that one.
Okay, next up, we're going to do New School. Everybody, what do you guys think of that card? I thought it was pretty awesome.
Yeah. Well, a lot of like similarities, and also, like I said, also with the playing in with the natural, like Austin versus Pillman. I mean, that's something you've seen. You know, it's really good. So you're going to get a good match. RVD versus Sabu in a Hell in a Cell. I mean, come on, imagine how crazy ECW would have been if that would have happened. Those fans would have crawled that cage. So.
Hey, Glenn, Dave's calling you out.
Oh, I know. I see it.
I like Billy's idea. He's gonna buy all the $20 tickets he can, resell them for $40.
That's old school, Billy. You got to do it out in front of the arena. Remember, there is no internet. You got to be outside out there in the front.
I think Billy used to.
Yeah, Billy used to sell tickets out for the arena.
Yep. Next up, we're gonna do a New School one. Chris, you want to go?
Okay.
Okay.
All right. I didn't do all the concessions, but mine was end up being Gonzo Mania.
Yeah, there we go.
It's going to be up at Lucas Oil Stadium as well, because we're in Indianapolis. I had a Edge and Christian versus the Usos in a TLC match. Seth Rollins versus Moxley versus Roman Reigns is a triple threat match. Kind of go back to the Shield days.
Yeah.
Except them three going at it. Charlotte and Rhea Ripley in a last woman standing match. Brock Lesnar against Gunther in a dog collar match. And then I had Daniel Bryan and Randy Orton Iron Man match. Chad Gable against Miz. I think Chad Gable's way underrated.
I do too.
And then I had Cody Rhodes, Sami Zayn, and Kevin Owens versus Adam Cole and FTR in no holds barred tag team match. And then my main event was MJF against Pat McAfee in a Hell in a Cell match.
Oh, man.
And on commentary, I had Jim Ross, Michael Cole, and Pat McAfee.
Pretty awesome. Okay, well, next up, we'll go with the old school one. Marcus, you want to go?
Alrighty. Funny how you had a last one standing match, because I did too.
I've got one too, I think.
All right, well, same town, different venue. We're going to resurrect Market Square Arena and call it Riot at the Arena. And once you see some of the people I have on my card who have all been involved in starting riots, we should be able to get one out of this. But let me see. Before I get started with the SuperCard, let's see. Okay, my announced team, my commentary team, I have old school. Rod Trongard used to commentate for AWA. And I love Lance Russell and Gordon Soley, and they're more Mid-South, Jerry Lawler type. I also had interviewers, me and Gene Okerlund and Ken Resnick doing those backstage interviews. My ring announcers, Howard Finkel and Gary Michael Capetta. And then for my, let's see what I got here. All right, I got Willie Nelson singing America the Beautiful and Lee Greenwood doing the national anthem. My concessions are going to be carnival food. Pineapple whip, milkshakes, sausages, elephant ears, funnel cake, corn dogs, hot dogs, shake-ups, cotton candy, popcorn, sodas. Anything you get at the carnival, at the fair, you can get there. And let's see. And then you wanted entertainment too, right? Tony, are you there?
Yep.
All right. Well, my entertainment's going to be sometime at intermission. Jerry Lawler and Bobby Heenan in what I call in a quick wit off to see who can outwit the other one in quick comebacks with stupid topics, and be kind of like, I guess, like whose line is it anyway? But it would just be the two of them guys. I always thought having those two on commentary would be funny as hell, but people get happen so much they wouldn't be watching the wrestling. So, all right, in no particular order, here's my card. In a cage match, King Kong Brody taking on Stan Hansen. And then in a Hell in a Cell match, Hogan versus Flair. That's going to happen in Indy anyway. Then I had the last woman standing match with Medusa Bocelli versus Sherry Martel. 2 out of 3 falls, Dick the Bruiser and the Crusher versus the Road Warriors. In a no DQ match, I had Andre the Giant versus Abdullah the Butcher. In a dog collar match, King Kong Bundy versus Big John Stead.
That's been awesome.
And in a hardcore match, I had the original Sheik versus Terry Funk. And then in a Falls Count Anywhere, I had Jerry Blackwell versus Kamala. And let's see, King Kong Brody, Hansen, Bruiser, Crusher, Abdullah the Butcher, and Terry Funk have all caused riots somewhere in the world. So I figured with all them guys, we can at least get something going on. And in fact, Bruiser's had riots at Market Square Arena. So, and I didn't have ticket prices. I don't know what ticket prices would be. But
Going to be a lot if it's my show. I want to make money.
Yeah, but I want to make sure that people like Billy Buzz ain't selling them from my arena because he decided to buy them all up. So we got to keep an eye on him.
Okay. Awesome card, Marcus. I loved it. Next up, hey, Warren, you want to go with the new school?
Yeah. Just to preface, so like I said, I'm from Michigan. So my second home is also Tucson, Arizona. And also when I was trying to put this all together, I watched a lot of different federations. I found out it's hard to try to put together just like you said, 8 matches.
Yep.
There's so much great talent. I took basically from the big 4, WWE, AEW, New Japan, and Impact. So that's where I sort of grabbed. So, I mean, you may or may not have heard of some of these wrestlers, but I watch a lot. So I basically would call it the point of no return. It'd be in McHale Center in Tucson, Arizona, which is the home to the Arizona Wildcats basketball team. I like to keep a small venue. I sort of like small over large. Concessions would be simple: a Detroit deep dish pizza, tacos, nachos, popcorn, pop and beer. Like my musical entertainment, I would do Authority Zero. They're sort of like a punk band out in Arizona. They're a fun little group of guys. My ring announcer would be Justin Roberts, because I really just like how he can really play off the crowd. My play-by-play guys, I did go a little bit almost old school, but Mike Tenay and Joey Styles. I think hearing both of those guys do the stuff would be a really nice blend. America the Beautiful would be the Foo Fighters, my favorite band. And then I struggled with the anthem. I want to find someone that was American, and the best I could think of American, Bruce Springsteen, the boss, sing the anthem. I thought that'd be a fun one. Now, my show, since it's my show, will of course have pre-show matches, because I know how much Tony loves pre-show matches. But there'll only be 2 of them. The first one would be, and I'll test you guys on this one, -1 versus Maxwell Hardy. basically Brody Lee's kid versus Matt Hardy's oldest son.
Okay.
I mean, I know it would never happen, but just fun. And
Yeah.
then my other one would be one I would basically call the Mr. Wrestling Cup. Honestly, like I said, I had four promotions. I took basically the guy that you'd say his name and you'd instantly think that group. New Japan, Okada, Omega from AEW, Eric Young with Impact, and Randy Orton from Raw. So basically a fatal four-way. Winner gets to be basically named Mr. Wrestling. So that's the pre-show. So then for my main show, I would lead off with Hiromu Tanahashi versus Ricochet versus Rey Fenix, triple threat match. If you've never seen Tanahashi in New Japan, he's a lightweight. He's one of those lightweight guys that are all over the place, like Rey Fenix and Ricochet. I just think it'd be such a fast match and just full of action. And then I would slow it down with Minoru Suzuki versus Gunther. Two guys that would just slap the living tar out of each other until it was over. And then I would switch up with a women's match, Becky Lynch versus Maki Ito from Japan. I don't know if you've seen her.
Yes, I have quite a bit.
Recently, she was well known for going up against Matt Corona, and he tried to low blow her at least 7 different times, and she just stood in the ring like, what?
Yeah, I've seen her on Game Changer quite a bit.
Yeah. So I think that one would be fun because Becky Lynch can brawl and Ito can brawl, and I think it'd be a fun women's match to watch. My fourth match would be the Motor City Machine Guns versus the New Day. A couple of groups that I think, with their speed and their flying abilities, I think could put together a really good match. And then once again, I'll slow it back down with Evil from New Japan versus Josh Alexander off of Impact. Once again, there's two sort of like heavier guys that could sort of put in a really good brawl type match. And then let's see if we catch this one. I would do the Young Bucks versus Owens and Zayn. So if anyone knows the history, Owens and Zayn are pretty good friends with the Young Bucks. So that'd be a fun one. We've never really seen it though. And as we're getting ready to wrap up, my co-main event, Sonata. He's the New Japan champion right now versus MJF. I think they could both together put together a good show. And then my main event would be from Los Ingobernables de Japan, Tetsuya Naito versus Seth Rollins, belt for belt. That's how it ended up. So that's my little show. But like I said, you think about all the different. There's so many people I left off this card that you could just do matches with, and it's like it's crazy.
Oh yeah, it is. Yeah, it was hard doing this. It definitely was for me too. Okay, next up, Justin Danger. If you'd like to go old school.
Well, first off, Gorilla Monsoon and Bobby the Brain Heenan is going to welcome you to the Silver Dome for Legends of the Rising. I was actually going to pick the Mayday Stadium in Korea, but that's kind of far, and I didn't know what the prices would be on that. So, but I grew up with Aretha Franklin, so I got to use her at the beginning of the show. Just start it off, and then Fink brings you into the first match, which is a 2 out of 3 falls. Brian Pillman versus the Blue Blazer with Owen Hart. Second one is Ric Flair and Arn Anderson tagging against Magnum TA and Dusty Rhodes. Third, just because I just started watching the rivalry and it's really intriguing to me, is Jake the Snake and Ravishing Rick Rude. 4, I had to throw a women's match in, which I think somebody already said it, but Sherry Martel versus Medusa. And then we'll go to intermission right now because we're in Detroit, so we'll bring in Kiss for a little intermission, a little entertainment. I'm spending the big bucks. First match after intermission is the 6-man tag, which would be the Midnight Express with Jim Cornette versus the Freebirds. The 6th match in a cage is Terry Funk versus Jerry Lawler. 7th in a Falls Count Anywhere, Bruiser Brody versus Stan Hansen. And the main event, just because it's always stuck with me, Roddy Piper and Valentine in the dog collar match.
Can't go wrong there. pretty awesome. Okay, well, I'm going to go next, new school. And the name of my show is going to be Best of the Best. It's going to be at Lucas Oil Stadium, Indianapolis, Indiana. All fans will, when they come in the door, will receive a free T-shirt, Best of the Best T-shirt. Also, will receive a free ticket to go up to a special concessions area to receive their specially made special edition WWE ice cream bar. Also, for my concessions, will be basically normal concessions, except there will be special concessions with Bobby Flay barbecue set up. Everybody knows me; I'm a big barbecue fan, and Bobby Flay is a pretty good barbecuer, so that's what I would go there. My national anthem will be performed by Chris Stapleton. American the Beautiful will be done by Ray Charles. I've never heard anybody do it better than him, at least personally. A ring announcer would be Samantha Irwin, who I think does a great job on SmackDown. I really like her. My play-by-play team would be Jim Ross, Michael Cole, and Taz. And my opening match would be a women's war game match featuring Britt Baker, Ruby Soho, Sasha Banks, and Toni Storm on one team. On the other team would be Becky Lynch, Bayley, Asuka, and Charlotte Flair. That's how I would open my show with a war games match.
Nice.
Yeah. Next up would be match 2. Would be a 4-way pure wrestling elimination match featuring Bryan Danielson, Zack Sabre Jr., Chad Gable, and Josh Alexander. Which I love Josh Alexander from Impact Wrestling. I don't know how many of you guys have seen him. He's outstanding. I really like him. Match 3 would be a match I think we're going to see probably in the future. Anyway, it's going to be Jade Cargill against Bianca Belair. I think that would be a great women's match, and I think we'll see that in the future. Match 4 before my intermission will be the Usos versus FTR. My intermission mini concert would be John Mellencamp. We're here in Indiana, and Mellencamp's my favorite, so what that would be. Match number 5 would be Seth Rollins versus Will Ospreay in a 2 out of 3 falls match. My 6th match, somebody else had this match on one of the cards. It would be Gunther versus Brock Lesnar, but it would be a last man standing match. That would be my version of that. Match number 7 would be Jon Moxley versus Roman Reigns in an I Quit match. And my main event would be a men's War Games match. It would be the Elite, Kenny Omega, Matt Jackson, Nick Jackson, and Hangman Adam Page against Cody Rhodes, Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, and CM Punk.
No dog collar match? I thought you'd have a dog collar match.
I almost went Gunther and Brock Lesnar dog collar match, but I didn't. I went last man standing.
That'd been the same as mine.
Yeah, so he did. So I'm glad I didn't because he had it. And while we're waiting on Austin, I had an idea because we were supposed to have somebody else, and he didn't make it on for old school. So won't we go around the room and come up with an old school match off the top of our heads, and we'll make our own card real quick while we wait on Austin. Let me think real quick. I'll go first. I'll go dog collar match. Ernie Ladd against Bruiser Brody. Big Cat was great. I know Marcus knows him pretty well.
Hogan and Billy Graham.
Billy Graham and who?
Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, they had a lot of similar.
Anybody else want to go? Chris? Anybody?
I'm thinking.
Dick the Bruiser and Brody. Battle of the Bruisers, which actually took place in Indianapolis at Market Square Arena, and I think there was a riot that night. But
yes, there was.
And I think it was in a cage too.
It was, Marcus.
Yeah.
But he wasn't called Bruiser Brody there.
No, King Kong Brody because
because of Dick the Bruiser.
Yeah.
David Kraft was there for that one, Marcus.
Yeah, and you remember Johnny Wade from WCWO?
Yes.
He was there also the night of the riot that same night. So that's how I knew there was a riot. It was because I've been a part of a Bruiser riot. So was he, and I thought it was cool that we were both part of a Bruiser riot at one time. Yeah, all right, that was tough.
Anybody else got a match for me?
That's pretty cool, David. We'll have to talk sometime.
Piper versus P.S. Hayes. I wonder how that one would shake out.
Yeah,
That'd be
in their
good.
prime. They got to be in their prime.
Oh yeah, oh definitely not digging Piper.
Or I
up.
guess they could do it when they were old too. It would just be a whole different version.
Who would
P.S.
ever
Hayes wear that hip.
who would ever thought that Michael Hayes would have went on to be probably the number one producer that WWE's got?
Hey,
I never
Tony,
would have thought that.
Tony, Jason McGraw's on here if you want to ask him.
Hey, Jason, we was going to see real quick, interrupt this real quick, see if you would like to be on the show maybe Thursday, if that would be possible, to promote the big show you got coming up. Chris, you got a match?
Yeah, Bruiser Brody and Undertaker.
That'd be awesome.
God, that'd be unreal.
Well, I've said before, Brody and Brock Lesnar would have been awesome too.
Yeah.
Chris, you want to answer that? Is that a time?
So you guys that all had your matches at Lucas Oil Stadium, can we get a discount if we like attend all three of them?
Yeah, it should.
So you're gonna have one different nights, right? We're not going.
Yeah.
7 o'clock work for you guys?
Yeah, 7.
Yeah, he said 8.
8's fine
Put that
too.
for 8.
I can do it at 8. I can do it at 8. I'm not working this week.
Yeah, we can do that.
You okay with that, Marcus?
Yeah, 8's good. 8
Okay.
Thursday.
Okay. We'll see if we can. I'll reach out to Crazy Man, see if he can come on with us. Ladies Man. I said Crazy Man, but same thing. Ladies Man.
But yeah, my discount would be half off.
I was gonna say, can I hire Billy Buzz to be my financial guy for mine, since
Yeah,
he can sell those tickets and make me some money. So
that's true.
You gotta bring him in though. He lives in like New York or somewhere.
I think Connecticut, maybe.
Out there somewhere.
Chris,
If he's got that kind of money, he can bring himself in too. So
Thank you.
he'll get front row seats.
how about you, Justin? You got a match for us?
I would like to see Bob Backlund and Iron Sheik in a submission match.
That would be great to see that again.
without having that towel throwing. I always thought they should have ran that again, even after Hogan won the title, just to see who was better.
I'll tell you a match I think would have been cool to see live. It happened many times. The original Sheik and Abdullah the Butcher.
Yeah.
I think if we did commentary like we did at Martinsville, we better stay away from the ring because I think it'd be a little worse than what happened with Face Collector and Tyler's kid, Tyler Scott. Better get the right title.
You would have blood all over. You have blood all over.
I am so sorry, Dallas.
I can't believe you just said
I
that.
cannot believe I said that name.
That's worse than me. That's worse than me saying. That's worse than me saying crispy.
I am going to go eat soap here in a minute for saying that bad word. Jeez.
They know how I felt when I said crispy the other night.
Chris, you ever come up with a match?
No.
You brain dead or what's the deal, man?
I
Bret Hart against
was
somebody.
thinking the Iron Sheik, but then he went with Iron Sheik and Backlund. So I don't know.
Did David Kraft come up with one? I know he said a bunch of names, or did he put anybody together?
I'm not sure.
He
And
said
Billy, you're old school too. You
Friday
had-
or Thursday.
Yeah, Killer Khan was awesome.
McGraw said Bruiser Brody versus The Undertaker in Hell in a Cell.
That'd been great. Everybody loves Brody, man.
Who would be so? I'll Marcus and you guys. I'll dig into your knowledges. Who would be a good American, not named Hogan, to go up against Volkov?
Backlund.
Backlund,
Volkov match?
Sergeant Slaughter.
Well, Slaughter. Yeah, I didn't think about Slaughter.
More generic, the Patriot.
Del Wilkes.
Yeah, but he was
Yeah. I say generic.
Hacksaw.
Yeah, Hacksaw. Kurt Angle.
Yeah, Kurt Angle. If you gotta bring the primes up a little.
Could have done a what is Backlund and Slaughter versus like the Bolsheviks.
That'd be a good one.
Yeah,
Are you talking Ivan or Nikita Koloff?
Yeah.
Hey, that was better.
Yeah.
Daniel said Savage against.
I was more of an Ivan fan.
The old, as I was just thinking about this, like I said, it shows again how massive. Like with the old school stuff, there was no mention of any Von Erichs.
Yeah.
No one did any matches with Von Erichs. I mean that
Yep.
It just tells you how just massive and like how it's not easy to do an 8-match card.
I mean, I put a lot of matches in the mind, but I was just getting into it. I was like, I'm gonna have to end it here with Andre Taker.
Oh yeah, man. I was like, oh man, I got AJ Styles. Oh, there's Moxley. Oh, I'm like, oh, I'm running out. I can't. There's no room for any of these.
They wrestled a lot in Indiana, didn't they? David Bruiser and Ernie Ladd. See, and then you could do like Ox Baker and shoot, I lost the name. Killer Khan. I mean, stuff you never thought you'd see.
Yeah, dang, Jason. I think that match would literally probably end up in a death. All those
heck of a death match.
And I'd almost not have ringside seats for that. I'd have everybody up in the stands because nobody'd be safe on the floor at all.
Or the lower
level. I mean, I can see New Jack running to the ring with the shit ready to go.
Yeah, that'd be crazy. That'd be crazy.
Blood. You'd have to have ambulances all over the place.
Give everyone the front row a poncho.
Be like a Gallagher concert.
Yeah, that'd be a heck of a death match.
I think on that one, Jason, we have to let fate decide that one.
That almost have to be the only match too, because you couldn't do that in 20 minutes. You'd have to have that running for
no time limit
ever. Yeah, so that'd have to be like, come to the arena. This is the only show. This is the only match we have. But
there would be a state in the union that would sanction that match. They'd have to have it on an island somewhere.
That'd be the death match, or it'd actually be a real death.
Yeah.
New Jack, Sabu, Terry Funk, Cactus Jack, and Abdullah and Brody.
Yeah. Yeah.
We ought to get a riot out of that, I would think.
Marcus, I had a question for you real quick, and everybody else that this was more our time, but some of you guys probably studied some of it with Dick the Bruiser. Who was your favorite heel that Bruiser went up against during that time? When you was watching it or went back and watched?
Oh my.
It's tough. I one that stands out
for a while himself.
Yes. But not
probably
a whole lot in Indianapolis. I was thinking more the Indianapolis times. Yeah. Like Jimmy. I was thinking Jimmy. I was thinking Ernie Ladd.
Yeah, David said Ernie Ladd earlier.
Yeah. I tell you one I like too is Baron von Raschke.
Well, I mentioned Ox Baker taking on Killer Khan too. I mean,
Ox Baker was awesome as a heel.
Baker and Bruiser was big time too. So.
Big time. Yeah, him and his heart punch. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I did that. Daniel was a wit off, but not fight each other, but see who can outmouth the other one. Because Heenan had a heck of a way to gab, and so did Lawler. And if you put that one commentary together.
Real quick, while we're waiting on Austin, had a question for everybody. Does anybody disagree with the fact that I think Bobby Heenan is the greatest manager of all time? And if you have a different one, if you have a different choice, say who it is.
I think the only one person for me that could touch Heenan would be Paul Heyman, but he's just a hair bit below Heenan, so I can't disagree with you on that one.
I've actually Tanner just put one up. Jimmy Hart. I mean, Heenan was great, but when it came to belts, I mean, who really got their guys? I mean, he didn't really have a lot of belts. He always had them in the high profile matches.
Yep.
But also,
But-
to be fair though, with Hart though, he did go back and forth. He was heel face a lot.
And it could be said this too, Mark. See what you guys think. I don't know if Heenan needed the belt.
You know, I think that's probably one of the cool things about him is he could make his guys hated without using belts and stuff. He had that.
Yeah, he was always chasing the belts.
He was always chasing the belts, and also he had feuds going on. He had feuds going on with the wrestlers, and he was using his guys to go up against him because of his feud. How he hated Hulk Hogan. Grand Wizards, old school.
Mm-hmm. Well, if you want to go with a bunch of titles, Lou Albano had all those tag team guys.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Bunch of tag team champions.
I mean, probably one of the other ones that I don't think gets talked about as much is I've always personally liked him was Bill Alfonso. I love Fonzie in ECW.
Yep. Well, this guy's not what I'm going to say here is not up for the, one of the greatest managers, but I really found him entertaining, and that was Slick.
Pork Chop Cash's son. Did you know that?
What?
Slick, Pork Chop Cash's son.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Well, you know. Yeah, I love Slick.
Slick and that song drives.
Drive Soul Bro.
Yeah, I could sing it.
That was awesome, man. One man. Whoever thought one man gang would have become what he became.
Hey, and that was a fantastic team.
Dream, my man.
The African Dream, yeah.
Yep.
One Man Gang, the African Dream. That was fantastic. You do that.
all because Vince had it out for Rhodes.
Oh yeah. Well, you know why Virgil was named Virgil, right? After Dusty Rhodes. Virgil, his real name is Virgil. Okay, when he went to WCW, what was Virgil named? When he went to WCW, he was named Vincent.
Yep.
At Vincent Kennedy McMahon.
Did you see where Virgil set up his gimmick table on Vince McMahon's?
Yeah, I saw that.
Fame Star.
Yeah, Hollywood. Yeah, Walk of Fame star. He sat right on top of it, selling autographs and stuff. He's awesome.
While we're waiting, if I could tell a quick story, and it actually involves like Dusty Rhodes. Way back in 2004, I went down to Florida for the very first TNA pay-per-view, Victory Road, and that was the one with Jeff Hardy versus Jarrett in a ladder match. And we went down the day before, and they had a meet and greet at the hotel across the street. And I went, and so obviously I was just still getting to know it, but I mean, I met AJ Styles. I watched football with AJ Styles in the freaking hotel lobby. That was awesome. And just a lot of Robert Roode and all those guys. And I got to meet Jeff Hardy and Raven and Christopher Daniels, and Dusty Rhodes was signing too. And I met some guys there, and they got a belt signed from them. But later on in the day, as I said, it's down in Florida, really nice day. They were doing a press conference out by the pool. And at the time, Jeremy Borash was doing the talking, and so here sitting on the side was Dusty Rhodes and Jimmy Hart, and they're just sort of sitting there listening to Borash, like I said, by the pool. And we're sort of in the back, and I kid you not, this very nice-looking lady got out of the pool in a nice little two-piece, and we see Dusty sort of do this, and then he sees us seeing him doing that, and he looks like he goes, yeah. It was just a funny moment. Like, that was great. We got Dusty checking a lady out poolside.
That's weak.
Pick your brain, Marks, a little bit. I know it's going to be tough for you, but do you have a favorite Dick the Bruiser match?
Well, it'd have to be the one with Wojo, because that was the one that the riot happened in.
Okay. Mine's easy because I was there. It was a Bruiser and Crusher against the Blackjacks. I've said it 2,000 times, but that's my favorite because I was there. I got to see the Blackjacks and Bruiser and Crusher, so that was my favorite.
There was one in Indy that had Bruiser and Andre took on. Man, I can't remember who it was. Ernie Ladd and Baron von Raschke, I think.
Yeah, maybe.
And then I know Bruiser teamed with Bruno. I can't think who they went up against though. And Bobo Brazil took on Harley Race in Indianapolis. They're at Tendo Armory at one time.
Well, you mentioned Bruno. He was in a bunch of great cage matches.
Yeah, Justin Danger was the one who told me about the who was it? Bruno and Stan Hansen.
Yeah.
And I went and looked at that like, oh, I hadn't seen that in years. And that whole card, I would have been happy if I paid to go that night because that entire card was fantastic.
Yeah.
It was. It's weird though. Jimmy Snuka and the Morocco that night, that cage match. How many people was in the arena that night that went on to become big stars? Mick Foley was there. I'm trying to remember some of the other ones, but there were several other ones that were there. I think you may be trying to get on.
What's that thing?
There's a bunch of people at that match. And there was a lot of people that was in the arena there at for Hogan and Andre. I know Bully Ray was there for that match. A bunch of people were there for that.
For which one? The one in Indy or the one at Silverdome?
Silverdome.
Still breaks my heart to this day that it's no longer there. It's just a lot now.
It's like Market Square. It ain't there no more either.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think the greatest match that's happened in Indianapolis? It would have to be Andre and.
Well, Andre and Hogan for the WWE era. I'm sure there was some good Bruiser stuff out there that.
Yeah. But I'm talking about far as well known.
That put them on the map.
Yeah, because I mean, how many people watched that Friday night? Like 30, 40 million people. They did that special and it was on a Friday night.
Yeah. But they didn't air it until Saturday here in Indiana because they blacked it out. But they
I seen it here in Indiana, but I seen it on satellite.
How's it going?
What up?
Going good.
All right. You guys already done yours, I heard.
Yep. Austin, you definitely want to go back and listen to some of these cards. There's some pretty good ones.
I heard like you're in one. Like I heard yours, like your main event, the War Games one. That was a good one. And JC told me what my dad's main event was. That's a weird main event, but a good one. All right.
What's wrong with Pat McAfee and MJF?
Great match.
Yeah, but McAfee even had McAfee on commentary, so I guess McAfee got that commentary and he went wrestling. Yeah. So.
He's doing double duty.
McAfee.
Hey, they're two of the bigger stars there is right now.
Yeah. Is there a way you guys did it, like a order or anything?
We just did like I started off with the name of my show and where it was at and national anthem, all that stuff. Whatever you got, just to the matches.
Right. I couldn't really come up with a name. I didn't want to say anything stupid, so just think of it as kind of like a WrestleMania type. But as my announcer, I had since I'm new school, I had Samantha Irvine. I think she's one of the best already. I like her. Doing America the Beautiful, I had this is kind of a cheat because I don't know if she's really still currently doing anywhere, but I went with Lillian Garcia. And then I guess I'll go to my first match. My first match of the night to start the show is a fatal four-way elimination match for the Intercontinental title with Gunther, Tyler Bate, Pete Dunne, and Dragunov.
Killer.
Yeah, that's a match I actually want to see, and it could happen.
I want to see that.
Match number 2 would be for the women's world heavyweight title between Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley. WrestleMania was great. Rhea and Charlotte was great, but we still haven't got Bianca versus Rhea. I want that. So That's my second match. Now, just so you know, there's a lot of special matches. I wanted to put a lot of people on this card, so there's a lot of special matches. So number 3 is a tornado tag triple threat Hell in the Cell match uh, with the New Day, FTR, and the Usos.
Good.
And number 4 is another special match. It's a number 1 contender match for a women's title, elimination chamber match. Yeah, I know. It's gonna be Asuka, Io Sky, Ember Moon, Shotzi, Roxanne Perez, and Zoe Stark. And then for my music, I went with The Weeknd because he is almost the song for every pay-per-view for WWE now, so I thought it felt right. And then for food, I went with hot dogs, loaded nachos, loaded fries, wings, burgers, quesadillas, and pretzels with beer cheese.
Hey, would it be the hot dog place from Washington?
The little food vendor on the street, but it's still the best hot dog I ever had.
Yeah.
Yeah, that lady would be there. I'm flying her out. All right. So after intermission, the match starting the second half of the show, 5th match, is an Iron Man match for the World Heavyweight title between Seth Rollins and Kenny Omega. And then 6th match is get the camera. The 6th match is the men's number 1 contender. It's a Money in the Bank match. Like I wish they still had Money in the Bank at WrestleMania, so that's kind of what I'm going for. With Kevin Owens, Grayson Waller, Carmelo Hayes, Wesley, Montez Ford, Ricochet, Johnny Gargano, and Sami Zayn.
That'd be nuts.
Yeah. And then my 7th match, kind of my second main event, doing what they do now, the 2 main event stuff, is the 4 horsewomen match for the SmackDown Women's title. We never got it. Charlotte, Becky, Sasha, and Bayley. Just a regular Fatal 4, no elimination, just regular match. And then my main event is a triple threat for the WWE title with AJ Styles, Cody Rhodes versus Daniel Bryan.
Pretty good.
Sounds good. My only question is, how are you going to have the Hell in the Cell and the Elimination Chamber?
That's what I was gonna say. Hey, when you put that up in, because I'd like to see that.
I want to see how you're going to rig it up above the ring.
That's why they're on the intermission, you know.
Go have a 2-hour intermission. While they
kind of did an old school thing where they separated.
Hey,
there was. What were you gonna say?
Do it. They probably could have some kind of rotation system that could rotate it, put it over.
Yeah,
I bet you they could.
There was a lot of people that I wanted.
They could start with the Hell in the Cell as the first match, have the Elimination Chamber up top, disassemble the Hell in the Cell and take it out, and then drop down the.
Yeah, there was a lot of. So me and JC made it together, so it was both hard. But there was a lot of people we both wanted, so there's a lot of special matches. But that was the best way to put all the people we wanted. So
it's really hard because after I got done and then listened to some of you guys' stuff, the one that I forgot, Randy Orton. How's Randy Orton? Hard.
I didn't put Randy Orton, John Cena.
Well, what about your favorite, Edge?
Yeah, I know.
No longer Edge. Adam Copeland.
Yeah.
Said, how do we all forget the Freebirds?
Freebirds, yeah.
I use the Freebirds.
The Von Erichs.
Yeah, he used Freebirds. Yeah, Von Erichs, definitely.
I was going to put the Von Erichs in a 3-way tag with the Freebirds and the Midnight Express, but I didn't. So.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, just now think about the Attitude Era. We missed The Rock. We missed Triple H. We missed Shawn Michaels.
It's easy. It's easy. I mean, It's just so many matches, so many great matches you could have. Austin, real quick, we talked earlier. I know you watched the pay-per-view last night. What'd you think?
It was okay. I'd give it B+.
Damn.
B+. I mean, I don't know. Some of the matches I don't know if they were really pay-per. B plus. I don't know if there were some matches that weren't really I would say pay per view, but Daniel Bryan's was really good against that Saber. Uh, the trio one with Kenny Omega and them, that was pretty good. And the main event was entertaining. It was really entertaining. And I did miss the Swerve one, which I heard was one of the best matches. So that kind of sucks, but I did miss that match.
I really enjoyed the Swerve one, and the main event was really good. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and the way I will say, it sucks that Edge went to AEW because I'd rather see him WWE, but the way they did it was really good. I like the swerve with the one guy turning on him. Once that happened, I didn't think he was coming out. It was a good way to do it.
Yep,
So
they
I'll
did
give
a
him
good
that.
job with that. I think so too. I thought they did a good job with it, and I hope things go well for Edge. He deserves it. Whoever he wants to be,
Yeah.
whatever he wants to do, he deserves it.
Hey, them starting him with hopefully a feud with Christian is a great way to start it. So.
Well, they already announced on the 10th. He's going up against Luchasaurus for his first match.
Yep. First match against Luchasaurus next Tuesday. It's going to be on a Tuesday, a special Tuesday night.
Tony Khan's birthday.
Yep. And they can't be on Wednesday night because of baseball playoffs and hockey.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that match will be taking place when I'm down NXT. So.
And what speaking of that, I know you didn't get to see all of NXT, but what did you think of what you saw? Austin.
So I really just saw the last match. Really, it was great. It was a really good match. Seen some people trying to say that Tiffany carried Becky. I thought they both did a fantastic job. You know how I feel about Becky, though. I kind of think she's the best WWE women's wrestler of all time. So I don't think she gets carried by anybody. But Tiffany definitely held her own. It was a good match.
Yeah, Marcus, that's one you want to look up. I know you like hardcore. I think you'll really enjoy that one, Mark.
It was a great hardcore match. I thought they did a really good job at it.
Hey, you guys don't want to see hardcore? Look up the JICW hardcore match between Kripke and Excalibur if you want to see a good hardcore. That's the hardcore of the year for me now.
They beat the crap out of each other, man.
Brought out a tree and everything. It was fantastic.
He was great.
Speaking of hardcore, this is a long time ago, but we were just watching WrestleMania 22 over again. That match between Mick Foley and Edge at WrestleMania 22. That's a great hardcore match, too. Probably the match of the night on that card.
Is that the Flaming Table Spear?
Yeah. Yep.
Well, guys, I think we had a real good show. I think we can come up with some really good cards.
Definitely.
Yeah, I'll have to watch it back and listen to everybody else's.
Yep, definitely some good ones. 100%.
But yeah, thanks for staying on here. I just got home, so I thought to get on super quick. I knew you guys were waiting.
Yep.
We had fun chit-chatting while waiting, so it's all
You
good.
get a topic going, we can fill time.
Oh, definitely.
I can easily, yeah.
Yeah.
Talk all night. That's the problem sometimes.
Yeah. One thing real quick.
Keeping Justin quiet. I mean, Justin just goes.
He's soaking it up, and we're going to see stuff. You wait, I know.
One thing, Warren, I know you watch a lot of AEW. One thing that they've got to tighten up, man, is their production.
Oh, no, yeah.
Geez, peas. Last night on the pay-per-view, there was times that they would go to the shot too soon, like in that six-man match, and where they were supposed to hold somebody's leg and keep from going in. They'd go on that shot, and they'd be on there, and they're waiting for people to get in position, and they're sitting there watching them hold the guy's leg for 60 seconds. And I'm like, why are you on that shot? Move the camera. You don't want to be there yet. Yeah, their production is not very good.
Yeah. It's still, yeah, they've been around for a few years now, but they're still, if you think about the grand scheme of things, still fairly infantile. But I think it does go to the Tony Khan, just eventually he's going to need to let some things, he needs to bring people in and let them handle certain things. I think he's too much of I want to run it all.
Yeah, with the money he's got, he should be able to hire the best. I mean, be able to hire the best production people. He should never even have to tell them anything.
Another thing about AEW, I don't know if it's been in the talks or anything because I don't watch it like that, but it might help me be able to watch it more. Do you know if they've thought about doing like something like WWE Network for AEW? I think that'd be a great idea.
I think they're Warner Brothers. I think they're trying HBO Max or HBO Max. Well, HBO now, but I think they're really close to having something together to have stuff on there.
The rumor I heard was whatever you pay for HBO Max now, which I don't know because I don't have it. You would pay an additional $10 or $20 and get you would get their version of Peacock. All the WWE stuff.
Well, I mean,
I think
it would be AEW.
Impact
I think
has
that
their
would be a
own
good
streaming
idea.
service. New Japan has their streaming service, but something similar to where you can get all their library.
Yep.
It'd be a good idea. It'd help me. I think it'd help me get into it more, be able to watch all the stuff I missed, and because it's hard to just pick up on something like that when you're so far behind.
Yeah, I agree.
All right,
I think we're good to go.
Good to go.
Yep. Hey, appreciate everybody coming on with us tonight.
I want to say thank you guys. Thank you guys for bringing me on. This is literally like my first time doing this kind of thing. So, I mean, I had a blast. I really appreciate it. And everyone that's in the comments, show up to independent wrestling, or I've got some knuckles for you. I'm going to give to Chris Chaos, and he's going to smack some people upside the head.
Yeah, cool.
What are we doing next week?
I don't know yet. I will get with you, Marcus.
Well, I get off at 5 next week, so I shouldn't have to make you guys wait.
All right. Well, thank everybody for joining us. Please hit that subscribe button on YouTube at Gonzo Sports Room. Like, follow Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, Instagram at Gonzo Sports Room as well. Hope everybody enjoyed the show, and we'll see you guys next week at 6:30 on Monday.
Misery.
Buy Justin Dangerous t-shirts.
That'd be absolutely devastating.
This is Joey Owens' show. They've been trying to get me on this broadcast forever, and this is the worst damn broadcast I've ever been on. So you all can kiss my ass while I win this match.